We recognize in Utah what the marketplace is demanding. They want to have reliable energy, and they want it cleaner. Well, that's the description of geothermal, and Utah is right in the heart of geothermal territory.
In the fall of 2017, we drilled a 7,500-foot well to demonstrate to the Department of Energy that the conditions they required existed at the site. We've measured the temperature, we've measured the stresses, we've measured the permeability. There are very, very small uncertainties. But in fact, there's another reason the uncertainty is very low. This was one of the sites that was marked for geothermal development in the 70s. In fact, there were over 100 wells drilled, some shallow, some deep. And so that is really the data that makes this site so well understood and reduces the uncertainties in what we see.
Currently, we've brought INL into the fold of the Utah Forge program. Idaho National Laboratory offers a strong skill set in terms of numerical modeling, particularly reservoir visualization.
We do have a plethora of data from the Milford site. We try to actually essentially build the most realistic numerical model we can based off the conceptual Earth model that the team developed in Phase 1 and Phase 2B, plus the decades and decades of historical work that were done there. So we can look at all these different data sets together, and that's where the real true power of this thing comes from, because if you look at things in isolation, you may be misled, but when you get 3 or 4, sometimes 5 multiple lines of evidence that suggest the same thing, we have a lot greater confidence in the analysis that we make.
The key findings are that we have adequately met or exceeded the criteria for a forge location. We have determined that the temperature is within the window that's desired. It's about 392 degrees Fahrenheit. We've determined that the stresses are favorable for the propagation of fracture from one well to another. We've established that the permeability is low, and once again, that it will rely on fracture interconnection between these wells. And we're coupling this with information that we have derived previously that establishes that the environmental merits are appropriate and that the infrastructure is appropriate for this to be an effective forge experimental location.
So Utah looks like a shining star in the western United States. I like to think that research laboratories should be where the most optimal site is to do the research.
These labs are bringing very new technology to the Forge program. We're demonstrating that EGS can be developed in an environmentally friendly way. Even if Forge and EGS is still a few years away, the techniques that we'll learn can be directly used by the companies. If we can figure out ways to improve productivity or injectivity, then the companies won't have to drill multi-million-dollar wells over. They can use the existing wells.
EGS is the next step in technology, which will help open up a lot more sites for development. Beaver County and Utah in general are very supportive of geothermal. It's development friendly, and they push us very hard on things that matter, and they're very flexible on areas where they can be supportive of the industry. So from the outside, it looks like an excellent site, and the EGI team is really second to none.
When you put these things together with a context of a research university and a state that's very invested in innovation and the way innovation creates jobs and opportunities, we could not have a more perfect opportunity than to situate Forge here at the University of Utah with our partners in the state and the support of the DOE.
If you're going to develop energy, it really is a partnership, and we have unprecedented partnerships taking place today which are giving us unlimited possibilities. We have 1,500 megawatts of potential out there. We're third in the nation already. So we're in a good place to, in fact, expand geothermal energy.